This is my final harvest of blueberries. So I got a bunch of them, 2 bowls, and 2 lonely strawberries. They seem to be eaten by slugs or something more than the deer won't come because we've got those power sprinklers that hit them with water, and they make a loud noise. They go, and it scares the devil out of them, and they run the other way. The slugs, of course, they probably don't even hear. I don't know. And they don't mind water. So they eat strawberries because they're low. They don't have to crawl up a branch to get a blueberry. So that's it on the blueberries. And I'm going to pick through these, get anything I can see one that's not ripe right there at all. And there's always some ugly ones. There's an ugly one that's split. So I'll take what's not salvageable and get rid of it and put the rest of these in the freezer, I think. Okay, and then I could get more, but I really don't need more. Maybe I will later. I need to put these probably in a dehydrator. It's was on the tip of my tongue a minute ago. Sage. I'm so sorry. Sage. So I don't use sage for a whole lot other than like for putting in my stuffing. If I use kind that's not already seasoned, like Pepperidge Farm already has the seasoning in it, but you could use this for other things too, I'm sure. And it always grows really well here. You can tell it's getting cold at night because some of the leaves on things are starting to look a little beat up. And that's just from cold nights and, under 50 degrees maybe. And here we go. You ready? I got a pumpkin. Ta-da! This is from an ornamental pumpkin, like seed pack, and this is the one and only. I did kind of not pay much attention to them, though. I should have fertilized them more. I should have watched for problems, but I didn't have a very good summer, not a very healthy summer. It started when I hurt my foot, and it just went downhill from there. And so next year, I always say that, next year I'll do better. But it's a cutie. It's ornamental for sure, and I'll see if I can get it to dry out and not rot. I'm not sure how one does that. What do we have here? Please don't be bugs. I'm going to put my glasses down. Hold on. Now, whatever it is, it's not moving. So I think it was just part of the plant that was a different color that was on the leaves or something. I think it's adorable. I wish it had had a trellis of vine. That would have been even cuter. All right, so that is that. I'm going to wash these. I may go ahead and put these in the dehydrator. I may as well. I've got nothing better to do. That's not true. If you saw the state of my bedroom, you would all think different of me. I promise. All right, I picked through them, and I took anything out that had, like, it was not ripe, or it was overripe, it was split, it had, a bad spot on it. That is a bad spot right there. This one was split, obviously underripe. Some kind of a stem just came right off. So, like that. So a good portion of them were fine. And so I'm going to wash them up and let them dry on a towel and then put them in a baggie. I see some fan. You can see through this. It's the dehydrator that I have. And so it swings out open. And then I have trays that go in here. And I bought more than the trays. And I also bought, this was like when the big virus went through, I also bought like the fruit leather, flat trays, or things might fall through, then I can use that. So anyway, I've got it loaded, and I'll give them lots of space. This is the sage leaves that I just brought in. This is actually going to be sage wands, and I'll just tie them together with some twine and hang them in the laundry room. That's what I usually do with them. I don't know why I even do it. I need to look it up. And so I ended up with 2 trays. I mean, that's not all that's out there, but it's all that I wanted to show you with. I'm not that motivated with the sage. I'm motivated with other things. I also have rosemary I need to get out there and pick because rosemary needs to dry as well. So I just realized that I did not get a whole bunch of footage. I set the temperature to 115, and I did not set the time. It's supposed to go 2 to 3 hours depending, and I'll just check it. I'm in this room all the time. And so this one has where you can put the temperature on it, you know, from 100 to, I don't know how high it goes, I forget. And then you add time and temperature with the plus and minus and a start and stop. And when it's done, it dings for me. And so it's ready. I'm quite wet right now. My backside is soaked because when I went to bend over to pick sage or the pumpkin, I can't remember which, I got hit with an automatic sprinkler because they thought it was a deer's butt and not mine. But it was in fact my butt. And I didn't want to get my jammies on this early. Darn, it's only 5:15. All right, I turned it up 5 degrees about halfway through because I thought it could use it. And it's ready to test. I don't think that the sage sticks will be done, but I think that the leaves themselves will be done. I'm going to open this and take the trays out, and I'm not going to test them until they're cool because they actually will get harder. Look how much they shrank. They'll get harder as they cool. More dehydrated feeling. It's hard to, whoops. So here are these, and it's going to take a while. This feels dry a little bit, but the leaves themselves are still very velvety and not crunchety because they're attached to this probably portion is what makes the difference. So yeah, this one has changed color a little bit from this one. Maybe it was always that way. Anyway, in they go, and I'm going to let them go for another, I don't know, hour maybe, and then I'll leave them overnight and see if they look any better. I don't know if I filmed anything before this, but I took just the leaves out and I left the sticks in because they need to go longer because there's more stuff to them. Wonder what that is. Looks like onion. Anyway, I'm going to get a jar so when these cool down, I can just put them in a jar. And I won't grind them up until at some point I think I need them. I'll just leave them whole in a little jar. I don't think that it's going to take a very big jar, so I got a squat one. And I use these plastic, I get these at Walmart, and I use them over and over. As you can see, at one time it was bacon grease, and last it looks like it was chicken broth. So that's what I'll put them in when they're ready and cool. Hey, my friends, I'm going to wrap this up. I've got some leaves in a jar here, and they are dry, and I'll see if I can pick up the sound. I don't know if that was picked up or not. It's a pretty quiet sound, but they are crispy. And they are sage leaves, and I am going to put the lid, well, they are pretty cool, but I'm not going to put the lid on them just yet. I also don't want them to pick up ambient moisture from the room because we're in the kitchen, and the dishwasher's running, and, you know, the sink is running, and just, you know, people are using water in the kitchen all the time. How you like my mess? Ugh, I'm telling you what. But the kitchen was spotless when last minute one of the people who lives here said, oh, okay, so I cleaned up the kitchen, put away all the like leftovers, and I, you know, cleaned just everything, counters, all that. Chocolate chip cookie dough, they said, $3.75. So this is half of it. They made a double batch at 10:30 at night. So the kitchen isn't clean anymore. What's going on out there? Oh. All right, I thought it would be fun if I could just write down a few things that I read about sage in the way of folklore. And so sage is associated with wisdom. When you have a very wise older woman, she's said to be sage. Anyway, the Romans and Egyptians preserved their meat with sage. I don't know how they did that with sage, but it said that they did. And sage is also valued for memory. It prevents the breakdown of I'm going to try acetylcholine. 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 Anyway, which the brain needs to store memory. And as you age, that breaks down. Okay. Medieval monks used sage to whiten their teeth and remove warts and more. Sage actually does have antibacterial properties, if you didn't know. That's a modern proven thing. And so, you know, they weren't far off. Warts, I think, are caused by virus and not bacteria. I don't know for positive, but it's what I was under the impression. But anyway, it's good for that kind of thing if you want to soak your sore finger. What else did they say? Oh, here's something that's interesting. Back many, many moons ago, years and years ago, there was this thing where girls would go out and pick 12 leaves from the sage bush at exactly midnight on Christmas Eve. It is said to give you a vision of your future husband. My husband would be out there going, "What is wrong with you? Get in the house." Do you want a future husband? Anyway, you can use sage, you know, in, here's some things: chicken, sausage, winter squash, potatoes, and cocktails. I wonder what cocktails would use sage. I don't know. And there was something else that was going to be, gosh, I can't remember what it was. It was interesting. Oh, here's another, like, old wives' tale, which is funny I called it that, because listen to this one. It was said that if you had sage in your garden and it did exceptionally well, and you were married, I guess you didn't have to be married, I don't know. But anyway, if you were with a partner who could impregnate you, there would only be girls born. So males would routinely go out and muck up the garden sage, which I thought was a hoot. Oh, well, I'm not, should I? I'm going to go ahead and, no, I'm not. I was going to tell you something else that it was believable to me, but it wasn't true. I'm going to cut this off now and tell you that it's all done. Oh, I left the sticks in the dehydrator because that's going to take a while, and it won't matter if it's not completely dehydrated when I do hang it up, because it's not going to be used in food stuff. My deal is these have to be completely dry before I store them away, because you don't want to find mold. If you do find mold, anything that looks like mold, even on one leaf, to me, that whole container is gone. I'm not going to use it. I'm not starving. I'm not hurting for, you know, the $5 it's going to cost to get the great value sage at Walmart, enough to eat something that could make me ill. That's my take on it. Okay, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for watching my dehydration. I hope you have a lovely Sunday. Bye.